Hey folks, my name is Emily and this is 108 Stitches, episode 6. 108 Stitches is a video podcast mostly about knitting, a little bit about baseball, and sometimes some other crafty things like sewing or a little bit of crochet maybe, but really mostly just knitting. Welcome, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm joined here by this lump. This is my pup Norman. I promise he can breathe, he's totally fine, but he always sleeps completely covered by a blanket. This is just a weird thing about him, but he has decided to join me up on the couch today, and he is, you can see his head moving a little bit. I think he's licking his paws right now, but yeah, here. Can I make you do a little peek? Hi, say hi. Here he is. But I'll cover him back up because that's the way he likes to be. But anyway, yeah, this is Norman. I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband, Nofis, and our pup Norman. Oh, he's wiggling now. Do you want out? Okay, bye. Bye, bud. Yeah, I live in Seattle, Washington, which has been pretty chilly and rainy and cloudy. Recently, we are definitely full on in fall in Seattle now. So, yeah, sorry if it's a little bit darker in here. We're not getting nearly as much light in from the windows because there's not light outside. It's cloudy. Today is Sunday, October 18th, and it is in the afternoon. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say. I have lots of little knitting things to share with you all this week. I feel like nothing super big, but lots of like little bits and pieces, I guess. But thank you so much for tuning in and for returning if you are returning, or for clicking play if you're a new viewer. Really appreciate you tuning in here, and also just wanted to say how much I really appreciate all of your likes and your subscribes and your comments and all the messages that folks have been sending me on Instagram or anywhere else, Ravelry. It makes my day. I know I say this every time, but I'm really glad that I started doing this because it seems to be bringing other folks a little bit of joy, and that definitely brings me joy. So thank you so much for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get started with some of the knitting content. So I didn't write this down in my notes, but I do want to cover what I'm wearing. I am wearing my Plumpy shawl, which is a shawl by Andrea Mowry. If you are a returning viewer, I'm sure you've seen this before. It's been in most of my previous episodes. Yeah, I finished this, oh gosh, I don't remember when, a couple weeks ago, I guess. Maybe a month ago? I don't know how long it's been. But I knit it out of Earl Grey Fiber Company in their Oolong DK base. It's just a 100% merino DK base, and let me see if I can remember the colorways. I believe this light color is peppered. I'm pretty confident about that one. I think the gray is cracked, and then this gold color I think is stay gold, and the blue I think is Fjord. I'm not 100%, but I'm like 90%. I don't know. Yeah, I should have made a note of those, but I just completely forgot. But yeah, I've been getting lots of use out of this, and also some of my other nice and big shawls. We haven't started turning the heater on in our house yet, and it's starting to get a little bit chilly. I think this upcoming week is supposed to be even colder. Nofis was saying that later in the week even the highs will be in the 40s Fahrenheit, which is pretty cold, and I run cold anyway, so lots of bundling I've been doing. Nofis, my husband, is much warmer than me, so it just kind of makes sense for me to layer quite a bit, so I wear lots of shawls and blankets and sweaters and that kind of stuff, so I've been getting lots of use out of this nice, squishy, warm shawl. So anyway, that is what I'm wearing today, and I'll go ahead and jump into my finished objects. So I have some finished objects and I have some half-finished objects that I will share with you today. The first one, I guess, is my baseball socks. So if you're a returning viewer and you've watched my previous episodes, I'm sure you have, I think you've seen these in almost every episode, but they are done. So here they are, and I guess I should, for new viewers, or just, for a reminder for everyone what these socks are, and also why I am knitting them. I realized that I only said why this podcast is called 108 Stitches in the very first episode, and people probably wonder why that is. Maybe I should try to insert that into my intro. I mean, I already forget most of the things I'm supposed to be saying at the beginning, so adding another is probably not the best idea, but anyway, yeah, I'm a huge baseball fan. I've grown up watching baseball with my dad, and I now am a baseball analyst with the Seattle Mariners, so I've made baseball my career as well, which I love. I think it's great. So 108 Stitches is the name of the podcast because it is the number of stitches in a baseball, and I thought it just was really fun. Kind of went with knitting and with baseball, my two greatest passions, I guess. So yeah. So these are my baseball socks. I did something similar last year. I knit a baseball scarf, and basically that just means I knit a different row in the scarf and in the socks based on the results of the Mariners and Cardinals games. So the Mariners are, of course, the team that I work for now, so I follow them really closely, and then the Cardinals are the team that I grew up watching, and they're my favorite team, and I still follow pretty closely now. So yeah, so this sock is the Mariners sock. The blue stripes are for games that the Mariners won, and the yellow stripes are for games that the Mariners lost. And then the Cardinal sock is the same, but red is for when the Cardinals won, and yellow is for when the Cardinals lost. So, sorry if you can hear Norm walking around. Are you back? You want to come back up? Come here. Come on, buddy. No, come on. Come on. No. Okay. You can come up if you want to. I don't know if he knows what he wants. Yeah, so I finished this one. Last week I had already had the Cardinals one done, but I put the heel and the foot and the toe on the Mariners one this week, and I'm really happy with them. I haven't blocked them yet. I'm worried that I made the foot a little bit short, but I really do think that after I wash them, I don't know, I've had trouble with this. My feet are really, really skinny. And so these I did with 56 stitches around, I think. And other socks that I've made, even when I do it with 56 stitches, they're still kind of big around the foot. So, I don't know. I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but I kind of overcompensated by making the foot a little bit snugger so that it would stay on my foot well, even if it was too wide. I don't know, that's probably silly, but hopefully even after I wash them, they'll fit pretty well. But these ones seem to fit well, better than other ones I've done. So I'm wondering if maybe I need to go down to a size 1. So these were knit on 9-inch circulars, US 1.5, and I think that's 2.5 millimeters. And let's see, so this is just a normal vanilla sock pattern. I did 2x2 rib for the cuff, and then I did a fish lips kiss heel, and then I did just a normal wedge toe. The yarn that I used, this white color, is Madeline Tosh Twist Light in their Salt colorway, so it's mostly white, but it's got little specks of blue and red and yellow. The red and the yellow are both from the Violet Valentine. I don't remember the name of the base, but the colorways are Tangerine Dream for the yellow and Sin Wagon for the red. And then this blue one is Knitted Wit Victory Sock in the Oregon Sky colorway. And I just picked these up from a local yarn store a while back in March, I guess. Yeah, so I just got them all from there, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way they turned out. Hopefully I can start wearing them. This is only the 3rd pair of socks that I've knit for myself ever, so I'm excited to have more socks to wear. So that's really fun. Yeah, those are my baseball socks. Next up is another sock. So this is a half finished object, and I was telling you all that I was going to get this sock done. It feels like I've been telling you forever, but last night I finally finished it. I finished my first poet sock. Maybe I'll put this on a blocker so that you can see the pattern better. I really wanted to block it, but of course I finished it last night, so I couldn't block it. But I'll probably just wait until I finish the second sock, and I will block them both and show them to you all nice and blocked out. I mean, the pattern looks beautiful like this, but I think it'll be even prettier once they're blocked out. But here it is. I don't know if it'll focus here. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But it's just a gorgeous pattern. I love it. So this is the Poet Socks by Sari Nordlund. The yarn I used, again, I feel like I've been knitting these forever, so you who are returning are probably tired of me talking about all the same projects, but this is Woolberry in their berry sock base, which is a BFL nylon. Actually, I think it's just 100% BFL. And the colorway is Pink Canyon, which was part of their desert collection. And I knit these again on my Chowgu 9-inch circulars, US 1.5. And I have not cast on the second sock yet, but hopefully I will do that later today. Norman is back. Do you want to come up? Come here. Come here. Okay, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, so I finished my first poet sock, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. This pattern, I'm in love with this pattern. I love this like lace. This lace, and I don't know. I mean, you'll see later in the episode. I already cast Norman. Let's not. I already cast on another project with this kind of lace pattern in it. So yeah, that's my poet sock. And then my last kind of half-finished object is a fingerless mitten. So Nafis and I were talking the other day about, I guess his hands were getting cold when he was working, and he still wanted to be able to type, so he requested a fingerless glove, or like a fingerless mitten. So I just found a free pattern. This pattern is the Point Edwards Mitts, I think is the name of it, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry by Fairlight Fibers. And I just knit this up really quick. This is the first one. I used some leftover yarn that I just had in my stash. This is actually the yarn from my baseball socks last year. So the base is the yarn is Mirasol Sisa, and the two colors, the blue color is Woodstone, and the lighter kind of oatmeal-y color is Silver Sky. Hi. What are you doing? What's up? Thank you. Yeah, so I think this pattern is really interesting. I know, you want to be covered. Here you go. I think this pattern is really interesting. So you put the little mitts on like this, and it's supposed to go all the way like to the tips of your fingers, and then you can fold it back if you need like use of your fingers. So it has like a little like folded section, and then you're supposed to knit the thumb all the way as well, and then you can like fold the thumb back as well, but I didn't end up knitting the thumb that long. And Nafis's hands are like a little bit bigger than mine too, so actually quite a bit bigger than mine, so like it stretches a little bit, and I don't think the top quite reaches to the tips of his fingers, but it still should be nice. So he was saying like if he's in calls or meetings and he's not typing, he can pull the top part, he can pull it out and it'll cover his hands and keep them nice and warm. So that is one half-finished object. I still need to do the other one. This is my first time actually. I've never done mittens before, so this kind of started because I cast on a pair of mittens earlier this week for myself. I was going to do the Pearl Soho Classic mittens, and then I didn't, so I don't really have needles in sizes US 2 and 3. I have a couple sets that start at 4, and then I have sock needles, but it's just like a gap in my needles. So they called for like a 2 or a 3, and I just did it on a 4 instead because I was like, oh, it's probably fine, it's close. And then I started going, and I kind of like tried the cuff on, and it was too big. So I pulled it out, and then Noffice had requested these, so I just did these then anyway. I did these first, and these actually called for a 4, so that was good. But anyway, the point was that those mittens were going to be my first ever mittens, and then I ended up pulling those out. And so, I mean, I guess these aren't mittens because I didn't close the top, but I did do like the thumb, which I feel like turned out pretty good. So, yeah, hopefully after I finish my second fingerless mitt for him, I will go back and I'll revisit. Maybe I'll actually get some US 2s or 3s. Calls for DPNs, I think, but I like the small circulars, so I may do that. I really don't like to magic loop. That's what I did for this thumb, though, because I don't own DPNs. I actually don't own any. Yeah, I always just do small circumference or magic loop. But anyway, so yeah, this was a really quick knit. I think I did it in like, I don't know, a few hours. But I'm really worried. So this is all the yarn I have left. So I weighed my yarn before I started, and then I weighed the like how much I used, like how much I had left and how much I used of each color and everything. It's going to be very close. So I may have to like change up the colors a little bit and do, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Noffice said he doesn't mind, so I may like switch up the colors for the second mitt, or I don't think I have enough to do, like, I don't have enough of the oatmeal color to do just like a straight reverse of this one, so I may just do like the cuffs. I may switch the stripes, like these 2 parts. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing. I may also just like go for it and see if I can get them all the way down the same as this one. So yeah, that is my other half finished object, and then yeah, that's all I have as far as finished things go. So we can just go ahead into works in progress. Clearly I have my second poet sock I haven't cast on yet, but that's a work in progress, and then my second fingerless mitt also haven't cast on yet. So hopefully I won't get stuck on either of those. I should probably just cast them both on today just to make sure that I get them back on the needles. My other work in progress, which has seen quite a bit of work this week, early in the week, and then I kind of set it aside, is my Cozy Classic Raglan. So I first showed this to you all last week, and I think I had just done a couple inches below the sleeve separation. So now, here it is. I have done the entire body and one sleeve. So here is, yes, this is a pattern by Jessie May. I am knitting it using Tosh Euro sock in the Stormborn colorway and Biches a Bouche silk mohair in the dark blue turquoise colorway, and I'm really happy with it. I tried it on, and I'm really happy with the way that it's fitting. Yeah, and if you're wondering, this is a size small, which is the second smallest size. I think I have gauge, or I'm really close, but I got gauge on a US size 6 needle, and I think pattern calls for a 7. So, yeah. What else about this? I did not do any waist shaping. There are multiple options in the pattern, and I just did straight, and then I did the ribbing at the bottom. I have changed I don't know, maybe this is weird of me, but I changed the amount of ribbing on the end of the sleeve and also the bottom. I think it called for like 3 inches of ribbing on the bottom and 3 inches on the sleeve, but there's 2 inches of ribbing at the top on the collar, and I wanted it to match everywhere, so I just did 2 inches everywhere. So I did 2 inches of ribbing on the bottom and 2 inches of ribbing on the edge of the sleeve. Here, let me put this up here so you guys can see the fabric. Oh gosh, so pretty. So this is with a fingering weight yarn held together with a mohair. Here they are. I think I've shown these lots of times in the past, but this is the yarn I'm using. The fingering weight yarn is just a white, if it'll focus, maybe. Yeah, the fingering is a It's like a sock yarn. Sorry about my band-aid. That's probably not fun to look at. But yeah, it's like a white yarn with speckles of like black and blue and a little bit of orange, and then this like really dark blue turquoise. You probably can't see that very well. But yeah, those are held together, and it makes this really nice fuzzy fabric with like a really nice halo. I don't know if you can tell that. Maybe if I hold it up, you can see in the sun a little bit. It's like fuzzy. So it's really nice. So yeah, I just need to do the second sleeve, and then I'll be all done. So hopefully I'll have a finished sweater to show you all next week. So that is that. And then my new cast on this week, I had referenced this for the last couple of weeks, I feel like, that I was planning to cast this on. So it is right here, and I cast on the Poet Shawl by Sari Nordlund. So this is the same family of patterns as the socks that I made, this pink sock. And yeah, maybe I'll try to put a picture in of the Poet Shawl, just because I was watching, I mean, I've seen other podcasters do this at times, but I was watching Melanie on the Cozy Cardigans podcast, and she always, when she's like starting a new project, she puts in a picture, and I just really like that. So I feel like I should do that too. So maybe I'll put a picture of the Poet Shawl in here, but it's a big triangle shawl, and it's mostly seed stitch, but it also has that like lace pattern in it, the Poet lace pattern. So I just started it. I just started it today, actually, when we were watching football this morning. So I just have a little seed stitch triangle so far. And I'm knitting this out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft in the Iceberg colorway. And I'm knitting it on a US 4. I didn't swatch. It's a shawl, so I don't really care if it's like a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. I mean, as long as it's not super off. But yeah, that is what I'm doing. So I'm really happy with it so far. This is my first time knitting with Brooklyn Tweed, and it is like, yeah, I mean, I don't feel like there's another word to describe it. It's just like a little bit rustic, but it's been pretty nice to work with. I haven't had, I mean, gosh, I'm not an expert or anything. I literally have just done this triangle, but I haven't had issues with it, like, you know, splitting or breaking or anything. So, but I really like it, and I like the little flecks of lighter and darker colors in here. So yeah, that is that. That's all my knitting progress I have. So yeah, I had a couple things that I cast on this week and ended up pulling out. I wasn't sure whether I was going to talk about them or not, but the mittens I already mentioned, I had kind of cast those on, and then I did like most of a cuff and I pulled it out. And then I also cast on just a brioche scarf. So last winter for Noffice, I knit him a nice big fluffy brioche scarf, and I loved it, and I wanted to make one for myself. So I got this yarn. It's actually Biches. They're like Le Petit cashmere and lamb's wool. So it's like a wool and cashmere blend. And I thought I was going to make that scarf out of it, and I cast it on, and it just, I don't know, the yarn didn't feel like it wasn't the right yarn for the project. It was just too, again, like, I guess the only word to use is rustic. It was just too, I don't know. Like, for a scarf, it just felt like it was going to be a little bit scratchy, and it didn't have drape, really. It was more, like, rigid, I guess. So I did, like, an inch or two of that, and then I pulled it out, and I think I may try to make a sweater with it. I have 3 skeins of it, I believe, so I might need to get another skein or 2. I'm thinking about maybe trying to make the Birkin sweater with that, but I don't know. I have thoughts on the color work part of the Birkin. Maybe I'll put a picture of the Birkin in here as well, so that you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, lots of people have knitted it, so you may be familiar already, but it's a sweater with a color work yoke with like a flower design, and I really like it, but the part I like the best are the like leaf sections. There's like a leaf part at the top and a leaf part at the bottom, and then there's like flowers in the middle. And I'm kind of wondering if I could modify it to just do like 4 leaf parts rather than the flowers in the middle. So if that I don't know if this is making any sense at all, but just get rid of the flowers and do more like leaf parts. So I may try to use that yarn for that. This is probably, I don't know, hard to visualize without me showing you the yarn or anything, but that's what I'm thinking about. And that's all the knitting. I don't have any acquisitions this week. I have ordered some yarn. I am going to knit an office, his first hand knitted sweater. I know the boyfriend curse is definitely a thing, but I feel like we're safe because we're married, hopefully. So no, I'm not concerned. But if you're not familiar, the boyfriend curse is just a common kind of, I don't know, curse or whatever, that if you knit a sweater for your boyfriend, then you'll break up. So, but hopefully I think we're safe. We've been married for a few years now, and there's no sign that, a sweater is going to cause any rifts in the relationship, I guess. So, yeah, so I'm planning to knit him a sweater. And I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about it. I found a pattern that I think he's really going to like. I'm trying to keep the pattern a surprise, so I talked with him about the yarn, just because I wanted to make sure he liked the yarn and the color. So I ordered a sweater quantity of Quince & Company Lark, which is their worsted weight wool base, and I have never used Quince & Company before, but I had heard really good things about the yarn from other folks, so I decided to just go ahead and give it a try. So I ordered a sweater's quantity of Quince & Company Lark, and I don't know when it will arrive, but I'll probably show that to you all in a little bit, a couple weeks maybe. Yeah, and that's really all I've got as far as the knitting goes, so I can do a brief kind of life and baseball update now maybe. Life-wise, there's not a lot going on here. We did go apple picking, which is really fun. If you all follow me on Instagram, you saw some photos from our time apple picking. And last week I know I talked about how we were planning to go on Monday, and oh gosh, the weather was just beautiful, and then we ended up not being able to go because they didn't have any apples, because lots of people had gone on the weekend preceding that Monday we were planning to go, so they were kind of all cleaned out. But so they closed for a week, and then we went just this last Monday. And I was really bummed when we were leaving because it was a really cloudy day, and it was supposed to rain all morning too. And it was like, oh gosh, we were gonna go on a beautiful day, and then like we ended up we're going on like this really cloudy and gross day. But it actually ended up being okay. It only rained for like 5 minutes of the hour and a half that we were there, and there's some sun at the end as well. And honestly, like, I don't know, I was having a good time. Office and I were just kind of hanging out and walking around and picking apples and everything. And so I had a really great time. But we got 20 pounds of apples, which seems like a lot. It is a lot. Yeah, but we decided we wanted to make a whole bunch of applesauce and some pies, and yeah, I'm really excited about that. But yesterday we made our first batch of applesauce. We did it in the crock pot. Thank you so much to Sheila, who left a comment on my last episode with a recipe for applesauce, for crock pot applesauce. We ended up doing something really similar to what you suggested. I looked on a whole bunch of online recipes, and all of them were just like slightly different, but we did apples, of course, and then we did a little bit of water and brown sugar, and then instead of cinnamon we did pumpkin pie spice. And oh my goodness, our house smelled amazing all day yesterday, and the applesauce turned out really great. So we're going to be enjoying lots of applesauce, and all of our friends are going to be getting applesauce just as little gifts. So I got a whole bunch of jars, and we canned up a whole bunch, and I'm going to take some to some friends. What else? For breakfast this week, so today is Sunday, so this morning we did our weekly kind of breakfast that we make together, and we made mini cinnamon rolls that I think I had mentioned last week as well, but instead of cinnamon, we use pumpkin pie spice. So yeah, we have been using lots of pumpkin pie spice. My husband in office is really obsessed with pumpkin pie spice and wants to put it in everything, and not just as like a cinnamon substitute. He like wanted to put it in our quiche and wants to put it in, he wants to put it in everything that we make. But yeah, so those were really good. Would recommend making cinnamon rolls with pumpkin pie spice instead. If you're not familiar, pumpkin pie spice, it doesn't actually have pumpkin in it. It's just like cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. I think it has ginger, cloves. I think that's all it is. But yeah, we've been enjoying it. We made our cinnamon rolls with pumpkin pie spice, and they were very tasty this morning. Otherwise, we've been doing some puzzling, a little bit of video games, playing Overcooked together, and watching football, watching playoff baseball. So I guess that's a good kind of segue into the baseball section here. We've also been reading. So I mentioned a couple episodes ago maybe that my family book club was reading 8 Men Out, which is about the 1919 World Series, the Black Sox scandal, if you're familiar. So the Chicago White Sox, I guess through the World Series, they purposefully lost so that some gamblers would win more money and they would get paid for purposefully losing the World Series. So we read a book about that by Asimov, I think is the name of the author. But we finished it this week and really enjoyed that. It was a really interesting read. And then Patricia in the comments mentioned the movie. I had heard of the movie, but I haven't ever seen it before. So I'm going to suggest to my family that we all kind of watch it together. There's a movie based on the book. So that should be really interesting. Hopefully we'll watch that soon, and we'll let you know how it goes. Otherwise, in baseball, the playoffs are continuing. So last week, I think we were at the Final Four. Right now, we have the semifinal series, or the championship series is what they're called, the American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series. So the American League Championship, that's kind of a tongue twister. The American League Championship Series is now over. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the Houston Astros. Last night was Game 7, so it's a 7-game series, so the first team to win 4 games advances. Really interesting, actually. The Rays won the first 3 games, so all they had to do was win 1 more. And then the Astros won the next 3 and forced a Game 7. So had the Astros won the final game and won the series, it would have been only the second time in baseball history for a team to come back after they were down 3-0 in a 7-game series and win it. And the first time was in 2004. The Boston Red Sox actually came back in the American League Championship Series to beat the Yankees. They were down 3-0, and then they won the next 4 games. And then they ended up beating the St. Louis Cardinals in that World Series. They swept the Cardinals in the 2004 World Series. So, yeah, that was a bummer. But I was rooting for the Rays. I'm not going to get into this super deep now, but the Astros it was uncovered that they were involved in like a pretty intense cheating scandal the last few years. I think it was actually 2017 was the year that they had confirmed that there was like cheating going on, and they won the World Series. And a lot of messiness going on with the Astros, and the way that they've kind of like acted about it has been not super great. So sorry if you're an Astros fan, but I was rooting against the Astros. Was hoping that the Rays would win. Also just like the Rays. The Rays are a fun team, and Randy Arozarena is a rookie on the Rays, and he's been absolutely incredible. He's been playing really well, and he actually used to be a Cardinal, so he's been really fun to watch. He's been hitting lots of home runs and playing really well. The other series is the Dodgers against the Braves, and that is actually going to Game 7 as well. So they're tied 3-3, and Game 7 is today, I believe. So, yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and tune in. You can watch the Dodgers and the Braves. Both of them are very good and very fun teams. So it should shape up to be a fun finale to that series. And then whichever team wins will meet the Rays in the World Series, which I think starts tomorrow. So yeah, we only have like a week left of baseball. So yeah, that'll be a bummer when that's over, but will be fun to watch while we still have it. So anyway, yeah, I think that's all I have. I don't really have any other baseball news or life news or, yeah, anything. Really appreciate you all tuning in. I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but if you're interested, you can find me elsewhere on the internet as Emweecurt, EMWEECURT. So that's on Instagram and on Ravelry and also on Twitter if you're interested. But have really enjoyed connecting with you all, especially on Instagram. And I'm hoping, just a little bit of a sneak peek, but if we do get to 500 subscribers in the next, couple weeks or so, I'm hoping to have like a small giveaway. It feels weird for me to say that because it feels like a very, I don't know, like only real podcasters have giveaways, but I don't know, I thought it would be fun to do. I guess I don't consider myself to be a real podcaster, but I don't know why not. I might as well do a giveaway. That might be fun, and I don't know, I just really appreciate you all tuning in and, reaching out and chatting with me about knitting and, foods and baseball and whatever else. So thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And I will talk to you next week. So, yeah, I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week. Bye.